Well, I think it's fair to say last weekend there was a sense of frustration, but this weekend, is there more cause for optimism?
Yeah, it was because we went to Old Trafford, we drew, and we are all very disappointed. And that's the standards that we set now. And today, I think we deserve to win the game. I think we're better than Chelsea. Really not concede anything apart from that strange save from David, and we should have do much more, especially with the amount of goals that we regained in the high press. But overall, very happy. It was a very important game.
Nothing has been mathematically decided. We talked about turning the screw before today's game. How important was that turn of the screw?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, that's what you want to do. We play a top opponent. It's really a joy to analyse and how they play and how Enzo has coached them, the quality that they have. But yeah, we can face any opponent. We know that on the day, and the team play with an unbelievable attitude. I really like that. And yeah, we go to international break. We're on it.
After that international break, you have another opportunity to turn that screw I'm talking about. I want to ask you, you've been at the team like Manchester City, you've been out in front for a long time. Can the mindset start to create a few doubts in people's minds? If you turn the screw again, if you're in the Liverpool camp, can the mindset change?
The only thing we can do is win our matches, that's it. And that's what we are trying to do. Against Fulham after international break, we have another one. Try to win that one. If we do, we're going to be in a better position.
Mikel Merino gets your goal today. There's been a lot talked about your strikers, but you seem that you're finding a way. What is it that he shows you that tells you about the attitude of your team and the way he's adapted himself to that role?
Well, that is very strange. Obviously, we had 4 of our top players out for many, many months, and that's for any club. Normally, I went through the history of the Premier League. When that happens, the results of those clubs, none of them in Europe. That's what happened. Our team, you know, they have an incredible resilience. They really want to do it. He's never played in that position before. His work ethic, how much he's trying to do, and on top of that, he's scoring goals.
How much of a nuisance is he in that striker position? Because, as you say, he's not a natural striker by trade, but he's making life difficult for people.
Very difficult, and he has other qualities. When he's setting the box, he's a really dangerous player. He can help us on that, on set pieces. When we have to attack at low block, when the opponents are really high press as well, his movement, he's intelligent to fix people, to bring people in the game. He's top, so really plays, because even physically, it's a very different game to play as a 9. The way he's adapted and his work rate, phenomenal.
Goal comes from a set piece today. You've made set pieces a speciality in the early part of the season, but lately the goals have dried up from them. So how big a positive was it to see a goal come from that? Very
good. It would generate again belief that we can do it again. It was a good goal, and yeah, you want to be a threat from every phase of play, and if we have that weapon as well, even better.
Just finally, you mentioned the international break. Bukayo Saka, after the break, you talk positively about him.
I'm in.
You're in. You're still here. That's the important thing. Has he got a chance?
Yeah, he's got a good chance, yeah.
Good on you. Well done.
That was brilliant, personality from Mikel Arteta.
Yeah.
That was alluding to, of course, a week ago when Wright and I were in the studio with Owen, and he did something similar at the end. He didn't like the last question at Manchester United, did he? So,
it was a lot better today.
Yeah.
A win does that to you, though, doesn't it?
It does. It makes you a lot happier for that interview after the game, I can assure you, yeah. But no, it was good. That was a little bit of a one for the defender, one for himself.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. Well, you can hear what he's saying, you know, with the players missing. He thinks any team in Europe would be badly affected by the numbers he hasn't got.
Yeah, but for some reason, Steve, like people, you assemble a team at the start of the season, you hope that they stay fit, but then when players do get injured, for some reason, you mention it and say, yeah, well, everyone gets injuries. And yeah, they do, but it affects you. Look at Tottenham. It's affected Tottenham. It affects everybody. That's affected Arsenal this season with what Arsenal's ambitions were to try and finish the season. There's no way you expect to finish the season without getting injured, which happened for us last season. We had our main players all fit. But this season, unfortunately, we've got injuries to players, and everybody else, like he rightly mentioned, is like pitching in to try and do their job. This is like what Mikel Merino's done today. And you just have to hang in there every game and see how it goes for yourself.
It's like a bonus for him, for Arteta, that, because he would never have said, let's have a look at Merino. as a centre forward in pre-season, just in case. That wouldn't have come into his mind.
Yeah,
but he gets forced down that road. And he goes,
yeah, but what Wright is saying is it's not a bonus he really wanted to do. He'd much rather have Kai Havertz there.
oh, of
or
course,
Gabriel
of course.
Jesus or...
Every manager wants your top players on the pitch. But the fact is that he's now going, where do I go for this striker? Where do I go with a semi-striker? And he's gone, you know what, let's have a look at him. And he's done brilliant.
You think Gaffer's probably looked at his technical capability because he's always looking around. He's very good on the ball. And you think to yourself, you know something? Maybe I can move him up front because he takes care of the ball up there.
Exactly.
Like you were saying earlier on, Gaffer, about holding it so as people could come and support you. And he's obviously got that about his game.
Yeah. In terms of keeping going, what he said, we just need to keep asking the question of Liverpool. They've got within 12 now, having played the same number of games. But I was saying to Wrighty last weekend, it's important to finish as close to Liverpool as possible, to finish second, to finish on the up when you're looking at recruitment as well, aren't you, for next season?
Yes, of course. I mean, that's it's important that, though, Ian said that he felt before the game that they're going to be looking over their shoulder. Well, they've got to make sure, as I was saying, they've got to be there just in case there's a big trip up from Liverpool. Psychologically, they've gone, as I said, they've gone out of the Champions League. If they lose today in the League Cup, they're out the FA Cup. Now it's from 4 trophies to 1. And they're favourites, they're hot favourites.
Yesterday, the same are for Ipswich and Southampton still to get into double figures. So Arsenal done their job. They've gone on to 58. They're 12 behind Liverpool. They both have 9 to play. Chelsea couldn't get closer to Forest. They're just still 1 ahead of the reigning champions, Manchester City, who are 1 clear of Newcastle and Brighton. And remember that Newcastle play Liverpool this afternoon at Wembley for the right to win the League Cup.
And you've got to still be in the race, just in case Liverpool do trip up.
Are you pleased with Mikel Merino? Because, as he said, I haven't played as a striker since the age of 8. He's been asked to do a job, and he's weighed in with a few goals now.
He has, and it's been brilliant for us because, again, you know, you've got somebody who's coming in and trying to fill a role, like we've seen Kai Havertz do so well. But what's good about Mikel Merino, you know, in that area as well, is that his touch and his link-up play is very good as well. And he is that focal point just in case you do want to go long. But again...
Sort of way. The header was a clever header, actually. I mean, that could have been a number 9 type of header, wasn't it?
The way he made the move for it as well.
I don't think he's just flicking that either to the back post, because he knows they've all gone into the near post. And I think the set play wasn't about making runs from there round the back and getting to the back post for a flick on. He actually guides that into the back post. I think it's a really clever header.
Yeah.
He's almost flicked his head at it towards goal, rather than just a straight flick on so that you get a second ball. But we studied, you know, Nkunku's position there. He's just got to stay there, look over his shoulder. A centre-forward going back, not knowing what to do, really, in that position. As the front shield, you don't let anyone across the front. What does he do? He just comes back towards the pack of players and he just gets in front. It's a great header.
Yeah, it is a great header, but again, you know, it's attention to detail from Nkunku's point of view, because the manager's put him there for that specific reason. And that's cost them the game. But again, you look at it, and I would say, like, Merino's movement off of Reece James was great movement, and the ball was perfect. Only because Nkunku didn't do his job.
Yeah, I think it was clever of Arsenal just to change, just have a little change up. That caught Chelsea maybe, as he was in the right position in the front shield. No one gets across the front of you on that front shield. And if they're going to beat you, they've got to beat you over your head. So it's not a whipped-in ball. It's more sort of a floaty ball. Gives the keeper a chance, gives you a chance defensively. That's why you put a front shield in there. So he did the job a little bit better second half a couple of times, but it was really the delivery that was poor, rather than him actually being really switched on, looking at it at half-time. Someone showing him and saying, you've got to be on the half-turn. You've got to see where runners are coming from. If you're square on looking at the taker, you don't know what's going on behind you. And, you know, they've got to put that right. If you put an attacker back there, he's got to do the job.
Yeah.
He's got to become a defender for that corner. You know?
Because like you said, and rightly says, which is a really good point, is even with the goal, if you look where where Mikel Merino headed it from, he actually was bending down to head it. So it's not like we're talking about a ball that's coming. If you watch when he comes in, and Nkunku if he just goes to his left, he heads that back out for another corner or whatever it is. Because when you watch how low this ball is, by the time it comes into Merino, once they play it on, here we go. Right, look how low, he doesn't have to jump, look. He's actually bending down to get it. So it's an easy one to actually clear.
Just looking at that again, I think Merino looks to go on the back of Nkunku, and he sees Nkunku just backing off, and then decides at the last second just nip in front. I think he saw a gap there, went for that gap, and then at the last minute he just nips in front.
Yeah.
And that's the timing of the ball delivering. Look, let's have a look from this angle. You'll see it. He's having those little 50-50 back.
Yeah,
he runs it. He's going in behind,
bang.
then he goes in front because that space is there.
Great movement right
all of a sudden, you know.
Really good movement right at the depth there for him.
Yeah.
All because Nkunku's in the wrong position.
Yeah. But that's instinct that you were saying that perhaps until he was up there, we didn't know that he had.
Well, the thing is, what we've seen is that he's a very intelligent player, because even when you do watch him, when he's linking up the plays, the way he holds it up, by the time it does get to him, I watched it again when they play PSV, by the time he gets it, he's so composed and knows where he's passing it. That's exactly what Arsenal need in respect of keeping the ball up in that third, is something that we don't do well, because we haven't got a focal point. And he's the one, Kai Havertz isn't that player neither, where he links the play like Al Merino can do it. But Merino can do it in a way where you can get there because he will hold it and you can come and join him. And then all of a sudden, we're playing a bit further up.
And the other players will play to that strength when he's up there, because it's pointless, like you said earlier, trying to play balls in the channels and all that. He's not that type of player.
He's not going to be going off the back. It doesn't suit Odegaard, who wants to play that little ball, but it might suit other players that know that he looks like he can protect the ball. And when there's a midfield player, if you had a striker that was always going to protect it, you could make runs. And you don't think, is he going to give that? I won't make a run. Because if I go and he loses the ball or it comes off him, they're breaking, and now I'm wasting my energy. I've got to track him back. Ball into the front man, he's holding it up. You think, now I can actually support that play, and it goes to the next level then, and you're on the front foot. So that's important and that's what happens when the new player comes. You have to find that out. They didn't know that. Arteta's thrown him in up front, but actually the players are going, actually, he can play up there. We can make runs off him.
I know what you mean. 1-0's never comfortable, but today was a day where you never really felt Chelsea were going to trouble Arsenal.
You did. You just feel like you could see, like I mentioned at the start, where Cole Palmer's not playing, where he would frighten me, just like Bruno Fernandes frightens you, because they can do something in the game now. Again, you're looking at a Chelsea side without Cole Palmer, they look very tepid, especially without Jackson, without Madueke, and then even if they had a Neto as well, them three up front with that pace, with Cole Palmer behind them, it's a whole different scenario for Arsenal. And a scenario I'm really pleased we didn't have to come up with today. But again, you look at the way we were finishing, we should have done more to make it comfortable for ourselves. But Chelsea, they're not a million miles away. I think they need some experience in their team.
They've got to get get hold of the ball and take the game run to the cosh here a little bit. We're not playing well, 1-0. Let's keep the ball. Let's get back in the rhythm of the game a different way. We haven't got Palmer. We haven't got the players that we want up front. They're out, so we've got to slightly play different, and that never really materialised.
I was a bit confused with their midfield, because I didn't know, because Reece James was in there a lot. So he's probably the 6. So next to Caicedo, or is he the 6? And then Enzo Fernandez. So I didn't know how they were going to. I didn't know how they were going to try and progress the ball, because they haven't got the pace up front. They haven't got the players to play it through the midfield. So it was just going to be a matter of time. And if Arsenal were more ruthless, we could have shown them up for what they were today, because they were poor today, Chelsea.
OK, let's get some Chelsea reaction from their manager. Here he is, Enzo Maresca.
What are your thoughts after that 1-0 defeat?
It's a shame. It's a shame. First of all, because we lost the game. And then because I think with the situation in this moment, the amount of injury that we have, I think we compete very well. We were not far from get something from the game. But as I said, unfortunately we lost. But now we have the international game. We can recover more players. Romeo Lavia back today, so it's important, and we can push for the final sprint.
You were still in the game, weren't you, right until the end, really? Was it an improved second half for you?
Yeah, I think the first 20 minutes we struggled a little bit, off the ball and on the ball. And then after 20-25 minutes, I think we start to control the game. Second half, again, we were in the game until the end. But yeah, has been a shame. The good thing is that we are in the right path, right direction. Now we have players that they come back from injury, and we can go for the final sprint.
Having said that, did you create enough?
I don't think between us and them there was big difference in terms of clear chances. I think we are more or less in the same situation. You know, when you play without a proper nine, it's difficult. Pedro Neto is helping us a lot, but for sure we could create something more. But in any case, I think the game was there until the end, and then at the end we lost. You know, from set pieces.
Describe to us Reece James' performance today. He played him in midfield, he got the ball, gave it nice and early. Is there enough creativity in there for you?
Yeah, I think Reece is doing well, Mo is doing well, Enzo is doing well, for sure. When, as I said, you have, in this moment, we have three of our players out, Madueke, Jackson and Cole Palmer, that they are the three that they score more goals. So it's normal that we are going to struggle a little bit, but overall I'm quite happy with the performance.
And what is the Cole Palmer situation? It was described as a muscle niggle picked up in training?
Yeah. The feeling is that he can be back for after the international break, and we'll see in the next days.
Will that affect international football for him?
Yeah, for sure, because he's injured. He didn't play today.
You're on the right path, you say. Below you, it's incredibly tight, isn't it? All the teams pushing.
Yeah, that's why I think from now on is how also we manage a little bit emotion in terms of if you win a game, you see yourself close to the target. If you don't win, you see yourself far from the target. But until the end, will be like this. We have still 9 games to go, but now it's time to recover energy for the final part.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Well, they're still in fourth, as I say, a point ahead of Manchester City in fifth, which could well be enough for Champions League football. In mid-December, they were 2 points behind Liverpool. Now they're 21 off the league leaders. But he thinks, Glenn, they're on the right path, and he was quite pleased with the performance today.
Yeah, I wouldn't say I could agree with him. On what I've seen there today, as I just said, they never really got hold of the game for even 10 minutes, where they had a pattern of play, and you put Arsenal on the back foot and you think, oh, there's a goal coming here. I don't see the creation that he's talking about. There was no creative chances there for me anyway, what I've seen. Cucurella had one, didn't he, where Raya got lucky. But no, I mean, it's difficult. They come on television, I've been in those shoes. You know, what's said in the dressing room sometimes is a bit sterner than what he's come out and said, protecting them.
Period in the game, apart from the Cucurella chance, where Chelsea done something to make me feel like, well, we're in trouble here. We need to see this 10 minutes out. I didn't see it from their midfield. I didn't see it from their build-up. I didn't see anything. So maybe like the gaffer said, and the gaffer would know better than me, he said one thing in the dressing room and he's come out and said something else, simply because it is a young team. You don't want to come out and completely blast them. But at the same time, that seems to be, for them to be in 4th place, playing like this with their away record, I think it's a bit of a slight on the league at the minute.
They have 27 points left to play for. They've taken 2 from the last 21 away from home. As we sit here now, what percentage would you give for Champions League football?
I think they can still get in one of those 2 places, 4th or 5th, where they're sitting, and they're in the pole position. They need Palmer back playing well. I suspect...
And Jackson, Gaffer, I think Jackson's a big one.
Well, what Jackson does is he stretches a team that gives Palmer that space in that area, in that arc, what I call. So that's a big, big plus if they get those 2 back. I mean, I'm not saying Jackson is a fantastic finisher, blah, 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 but he's got pace and he will get in searching behind. Personally, I think Neto's got to play. I think he's a great player, but he's got to play in the right position. And I think to get back to that, he's got enough players in midfield in that deeper area to play and mess around with. Of course he has, with James going in there as well. Yeah. There's loads of options
Romeo
there.
Lavia, do you remember him? Yes. He was back on the bench today.
Back today. And, you know, and so get those players back. They can certainly get that spot still, but they've got to get recharged again. They've got to get playing on the front foot with a bit of confidence in the pattern of play. I didn't see a pattern of play. Earlier in the season, I thought, oh, they're back to their best again. They've got pace, they've got a good bit of steel about them, they've got some good youngsters that get tight. Away from home concerns me. How they're going to pick up enough, you know, it's a very delicate one for me. It's 50-50. Someone, they could drop a little bit like a stone, or someone could just pip them and get there ahead of them if they have a run.
You know, you say there was a spell there where the goalkeeper, he went long a few times. Remember when they were trying to press Arsenal in and tried to close them down, especially in the second half? I thought they should have went that way a lot earlier and put Arsenal under a lot more pressure to play out and try and win the ball higher. Because you've got Sancho, you've got Neto. They are quite skillful, tricky players. If they can win the ball closer to our goal, maybe they might get their chance that way, because I couldn't see any other way that they were going to do that through build-up.
If they weren't to finish in the top 5, which we think will be enough, or 4, would that be a bad season? Because Maresca said it's been their clear target since August to get back into the Champions League.
Yeah, I think for them it would be a poor season, in the sense that if that's their targets, if that's what they've said, then they would have underachieved. I would have probably put a little bit of Europa would do us, European football, an improvement out of the conference into Europa or Champions League would have been realistic for Chelsea this year. It's a stepping stone they've got to get. They're not going to go from there to there. They need little stepping stones to actually get there eventually. They've got a team that in 2 years' time we might be going, wow, what a team they've got here.
I was going to mention that. They have got the youngest average starting 11 in the whole Premier League this season.
Which
And in the same area of the pitch as well. A lot of their youth is in defending, and away from home. You need that experience in the defensive way. You get found out a little bit, and when you come under the cosh, they weren't under the cosh tonight, but if they go into the Champions League or Europa and European, wow,
that's when the away. It's the away games what we're seeing with this team and this young team. It's their away team performances. I still believe that if they can get a couple of experienced players, a Thiago signing. And maybe someone in the midfield to help that midfield.
Do you think that's in their module where they want to go?
Well, they're going to
the way
need
they're recruiting.
Well, it doesn't seem. Well, it doesn't seem
the
like
latest one from Sporting Lisbon is 17, isn't it? You know.
But the thing is, it doesn't seem like this particular. The guys who are in charge at the minute are thinking that way. But when you look at the Chelsea team, the record, the fact that they're getting injuries, they've got a young side. They need experience.
Couple of old heads.
They do need experience.